Josh. I understand we're going live. We've done this every fucking week for the last 3 years.
Every single
Chill
time
out,
I don't
please.
tell you, you yell at me.
I don't know. It's,
Dude, I like
play the
this.
tape. Play the tape. I don't think I've ever yelled at you for
Alex Simon.
that. Asia Opan.
No, these have replaced my tomb. If you haven't thrown one, the Chiefs, they nice.
The Tomb.
what?
They do feel nice. I was surprised.
The Chief
The Chief. Chief Wahoo.
From
for Gateway.
Gateway.
who makes that?
It
Gateway?
is a flat top. If you look at the profile, they are almost identical to a tomb.
I will say Gateway's making moves this year in huge ways. So
Yeah, their
props
new
to
stuff,
them.
like their
and their
this
new
is
plastic feels good. Like surprisingly, I think the big thing is like, you know, the
NXT.
quality- Yeah, the NXT feels really good. Even like their mixes, right? Their hybrids of like their new old plastics. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
this is a new one too. Their Glow Spear. I don't know.
Who knows? Now
Is
that
that
I'm
who
off
makes
TSA, maybe
Hooligan?
I'll be on Gateway.
Is Hooligan done by
Who knows?
Gateway now?
Who knows? Who knows?
We don't know.
Can't talk. We don't want to talk about it.
So, what is up, everyone? Welcome to this week's Jammers in the Rough. Just a subtle reminder that we are bi-weekly once the season begins. And because we're bi-weekly when the season begins, you might have missed us last week because bi-weekly. So, as
Idiot.
always, we have the absolute worst, Cody Waldron. We have Josh, the Crossing the Picket Line Winter. And of course, your host
What does that
with
mean?
the most
What does
is
that mean?
No Mo TSA, Age Hurtado.
Tonight we're gonna sell teen stamps, $100 a pop.
Buy it now, $100. Buy it now, $200. Buy it now, $50.
Hedge the rage. That's what I'm talking about.
My rage has been quelled
don't
for
believe
this
that.
week. This week I am feeling a little bit defeated. But I fixed my form and I'm throwing further than I've ever thrown before. But landing in zones I've never landed in before. And so my game right now is feeling at an all-time high. And this is like a week.
250.
Huh?
You're up to 250
250, maybe 260.
meters.
Maybe.
Maybe. And so my game's feeling well now that the sun's out.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was able to try out a new disc that is getting me consistently further down the fairway, which is super cool.
What is it?
It's Paige recommended.
It's
Paige
Paige
put it in his
recommended.
hand. Paige
Oh,
fondled
my hand.
it and then made him throw it.
What is
Yeah,
it?
it's the Hooligan Vibe.
Is that the 11 like 6 minus 2?
Yep.
It's 11.5 minus 2.
So kind of like a Grace almost, a little flippier.
Yeah, I say, you know what? The glide that I've seen come out of it, though, it
Is
could
a
easily
6.
be a 6. It could be a 6.
It does have sneaky glide. It kind of
So then, Paige,
Yeah.
put one of those in the box that you're shipping 3 months.
No, probably not.
I know it'll probably be 4 months or next
I'm
Christmas.
kind of
Who
on
knows?
this like out of the Hooligan Vibes, the first run to me is the best.
I don't
out of all
want-
3 of them.
Give me something. I don't care. Throw one and don't ink it.
Well, I don't have one.
Get
It's
one.
not
what's
You're on the
first
team.
runs.
What's the run that I showed you that I had, Paige? The blue one.
Oh, the blue one is the Alpha Plastic from when they were getting made by Lone Star, not the new manufacturer.
Honestly, like I like the new first run a lot, and the blue one actually is a solid counterpoint to it. Like,
No, that's
how
what
blew
when I
you
threw
away?
them both. And maybe you could just hit the play on my video because that's going to be
Yeah.
Paige's Jammer of the Week is the Hooligan Vibe.
the Hooligan Vibe.
So Josh is kind of like hitting on all of my talking
Bitch, don't kill
points.
my vibe.
Oh gosh.
I think like right at this point, like I can acknowledge you're better than me, Dallas.
Got
Oh,
on video.
fuck.
We all
Everything
knew
I
that.
can do to
Edit
try to
that.
keep up with you, I think is really
So-
my next goal. Can I just stay close to you nowadays?
I'm just giving Dallas
First round
props.
five.
So they kind of just like the first run right here kind of holds any line that you put it on with a little bit of movement in the middle of the flight, but that's to extend it. And here's like a little bit of the old run, which is a little bit flippier.
Where's the
Um,
ace trace at? Come on.
I know. This is the iPhone quality. Here's Dallas completely obliterating the vibes. And
You can throw Sulfur fur.
Yeah. So the
Goodness.
Pink Vibe is by far flippier. I think the new one it has a little bit more stable and stability, the
Mhm.
first run. But the new runs of the Alpha and the Alpha Vision plastic kind of match the flight of the old vibes.
Oh,
So if you're
okay,
looking,
cool.
like, if you don't want to chase the old Lone Star plastic, I do think they did a really good job of capturing all of these kind of different flights. Here I'm kind of cranking on a little bit of Annie and watching it kind of fade back. It does, like I said, I do think it has 5.5 glide, maybe 6 on good rips. It does kind of have sneaky distance and kind of pushes. I think the plastic is probably going to be something that you have to feel for yourself. The black one that I'm throwing, the first one has a little bit softer of a flight plate, which is kind of been the one negative that people have said. For me, I don't mind it because I like the dome on it. I'm a big domey thrower, so the Alpha and the first run both have dome, whereas the Vision has a little bit of just the flat top. So depending on if you like dome or flat, you'll have your two options. But to me, I think it's a home run for their first kind of release with the new manufacturer, and I think it's definitely worth exploring, especially when you are a big Wraith thrower. I was a big Wraith thrower last year. I was bagging 4 Wraiths, and this kind of leads towards that neutral stability to understable. So I don't, it's obviously not the overstable one where you're going to crank it on Annie and watch it flex around, but that's why I have Emperors. So I think it's a good introductory to a control driver for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like it's at least the blue one, the old Alpha plastic. That one, it reminds me of a faster like Zoe Sphinx, like the second, third run ones, because the first one's like super flippy. And then the black one was more like the Halo Sphinx, but faster.
Yeah.
It just glides for longer. You can rip on it. It can hold it takes a torque really well for a
I don't know if
understable disc.
So what it really reminds me of is like, this is like 3 years ago. You remember when what was it? TSA finally first came out, and I was jamming on my CD2s, and I threw the Animus for the first time, and I was like in all of the groups shouting the love of the Animus, where it's just like, this is a faster CD2, this is a faster CD2. If you guys like the CD2, throw this, and that kind of helped push the wave of the Animus. I think right now that vibe is kind of in that spot of like what you're saying, like, oh, CD2 throwers, Sidewinder throwers, what did you, Sphinx throwers, like construct throwers. If you're looking for something that's just a little bit faster, it gives you that same kind of shape. To me, that vibe is definitely it. I think if you're a big fairway control thrower, this is that next level up of what you're looking for, of being able to kind of hit it on hyzer, watch it flip, hold straight, and then kind of fade out. Or if you hammer it flat, watch it drift and then fade back out. But if you go the flippier runs, then it's just going to hold. So yeah.
Does it turn over and burn on you or no?
The white one does. The Vision plastic does for me. And so like that's one of the reasons I'm not bagging it. I think I have it in a box here. So you can see like it's a lot flatter, a little bit softer plate still. They're good. They feel comfortably in the hand, and I think this one is like by far flippy, but it is like you hammer on hyzer, it's going to want to stand up and drift at least my arm speed. And so this one's flat. The domier ones, I do think has a little bit of that because of the dome comes back, but you're able to shape them. But
shape,
yeah, my blue one's pretty domey, and so hyzer flipping it gives some turn, but it comes back every time for sure.
For sure.
I do. That's my jammer of the week, guys. I do recommend them. Right now it seems like their inventory might be a little bit low, just because people have been waiting for the new manufacturer, all of their fans. I'm hoping they catch up with some of their, commitments here in the next like month or two. But go check out their website, guys. And I do recommend. I don't think they're $30 discs, and I don't think they do either. So they're like $20-$25. So being able to kind of get some affordable throwers, it's always a great thing.
Yeah. Worth a shot.
Affordable.
All right, Cody. Just grinding your gears this week.
Everything. Page. I mean, it's just all the things. But our Cody's Hot Takes sponsored, of course, by the man who's trying to get in here right now, Soul Crusher. Manny Trujillo.
Let Manny in, Josh.
I know
Let the
Josh
guy
is being
in.
he's
Come
gatekeeping
on, you have one
Manny.
job, Josh.
We're trying to let Manny in, and
Give the
Josh
people
is
what they want, and that's
refusing.
Manny.
He's just
Letting who in? Who's not even
Manuel.
in here.
Manny. But yeah, Soul Crusher, check him out if you want to see some cool stamps. And he also does some shirts for pros that are touring. Nate Perkins was one of them. I'm trying to think what his last one was, but check him out. My hot take this week is that the pros who are getting the 2 strokes for being late is correct. And I know a lot of people have been on the fence, like, oh my gosh, they were only a couple minutes late, blah, 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 blah. Let me in, all this stuff. But I think for a lot of these touring pros, this is their full-time job. If you cannot be on time for your job, there should be an issue. There should be consequences. So, I'm a teacher. If I'm late for my job, I can get written up. I can get in trouble with my principal, admin, stuff like that. So I think I don't know why these people cannot be on time, because not only are you being late for your time, but now you're making your whole card late. So I think it's a fair consequence for not being on time. And I know what happened to like Ricky Wasaki. He's like making $10 million. I mean, dude,
It's happening every week so far.
Yeah,
Every week it's happening to somebody.
Was it? I was trying to remember. Was it Haley King that got in trouble too? So yeah,
And even like you watch coverage from last week, you see Nicholas like running to the tee right before the final round. So that could have easily been the 2 strokes that maybe have cost him the win.
And I understand that, like, things happen where like your car broke down, there's traffic, something like that. Of course, situations out of your control, but I'm guessing most of these are just people not being careful or cognizant of their time.
Who was it in Arizona that got in a car accident? It was, what, like 3-4 years ago on the way to the course?
We talked about that one podcast, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Again, that would be a circumstance that, like, if you let the TD know, let somebody know, hey, I've been in a car accident. Yes, I totally understand. What can we do to rearrange your schedule, your card,
but also, if you
what
get
have
in a
you?
car accident, should you then be playing disc golf and rushing to the course to play that round of disc golf? Like,
but is it a fender bender? Is it, obviously there can be many different types, but I think it's yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the big thing with this rule is that there needs to be support and clarity around some of the things. So support of like, okay, cool. If you're going to require people and you have a warm-up zone, have a clock that's synchronized with, whatever clock's being used at the tee pad, so that maybe 30 seconds. Because I do think there's been a couple times where it's like, oh, you're 30 seconds late. It could have easily been that little bit of a difference of being like, oh, well, my clock says this, but your clock says that. So I think a synchronized clock goes a long way, but also just being transparent and clear with everybody that this is happening. Enforce it. Don't pick and choose. And make it seem like, is this enforceable throughout the divisions, or is it a pro tour only? Because now you're showing up to tournaments where you're like, oh yeah, is this 5-minute rule in effect at this B tier or A tier? And make that consistent, make that known, like put effort behind it. Don't get bullied, because I also do think as a TD and running a tournament, like if the person's not there within 5 minutes, you start to panic, right? Are they going to show up? Are they going to be late? Do we have to send out a threesome? Yeah, it's Stokely who had a 4-some, a 3-some, a 2-some, and then, a whole buttload of 1-sums, right? Like he had that going on with him in his card. So it's like, you need to be able to mitigate some of that at the beginning. And 5 minutes isn't much. If it impacts your wait time, show up 5 minutes earlier. Boom, problem solved. Like, it's like Cody said, it's your job. You should be able to kind of have some time management skills. And maybe this is because I'm bossing a few people, but people's inability to manage time is quite infuriating right now.
Yeah, I'm more of I hear the 2-minute warning and then I start running from wherever I'm putting at and hope I make it. I'm usually pretty good. I usually get there.
You don't putt at the basket that's right next to your tee?
No, I mean, sometimes it depends on what hole I start on the course, because sometimes the tee right before me is like down a path around the corner.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Josh is
And
like a
that
social
happens.
butterfly. He has to go make his rounds. He starts at like hole 1, and by the time like hole 3 is, he's like, 2-minute warning. He has to run to hole 16.
I was gonna say he started on a hole 3. I was like, you're good.
I don't even warm up. I just don't. I just show up and this is what
You know
you're gonna
what?
get.
I'll tell you what's made a huge difference is any tournament that I play well in, I play at least 9 holes before. You know, and I'm not usually too worried about like my putting warm up. I'm pretty confident in my putting, so I'll get that in the few minutes before at the tee box. But if I can play 9 holes before a round, especially the first round, the morning round, you know, I play so much better. You know, I guarantee that if I don't play more than 4 holes, I'm out of it after 4 holes during the tournament, just because I'm not warmed up.
Yep, I'm the same way. Like, give me a few holes because, like, also like I get bored of like, let me empty my whole bag in an open field, go collect all of them. Like, I go crazy, but give me like a little small 9-hole course to play, and then I do a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say you need to get your like time work on the tee pad, your tee pad work. How's your timing? How you're lining up? What's your power and your twist and your rotation, especially in the morning rounds where it's like, oh yeah, it's 80 degrees in the afternoon, I'll be fine. But when it's like 40, 50 degrees and my body's warming up, give me that extra little bit of oomph.
Yeah, and you know, throwing in a field, other than getting loose, I feel like it doesn't prepare me for a round. Like, because you're not necessarily, well, at least here in Colorado, you know, any place you're going to throw before a round is like wide open. It's not like I have to hit a line or anything like that. So I like to go out there and actually play some holes on the course. So I'm actually practicing those shots, you know, and actually having to aim instead of just throwing, oh, I'm going to throw as far as I can right now to warm up, because that does nothing for me.
No. And that's where like I did like the like when you have things to aim at, I think that helps a lot too in the field, right? So as TDs, if you're listening, be able to kind of set either maybe not a basket because people will put up that basket and be thrown at, but having some random things that's kind of placed always helps because then you're starting to shape things, you're just starting to kind of gauge things. But yeah, full ripping in the field never warms me up.
Like
I'm also one of those guys, like I'll also hop out of the car, and I'm probably one of the best from out of the car to first throw throwers in the world because I park that shot more often than not. And then it's like my hole 4, my body gets cold.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, going back to the rule, is there clarification like you have to be on the tee pad, or is it just kind of up to the discretion of your card? Like, does somebody like have their watch and be like, Ricky was late, stroke him? Is that someone who's trying to be like a narc?
I know, I'm kind of curious about that too, right? Do you have to hit like a box, or can you be like, oh, there's Ricky, I see him. Does that check in while he's running, right? If we see like 200 feet away, it's 5 minutes and 40 seconds. And he's running, and you're like, okay, there he is. And it counts, or does it have to be the, oh, I have to touch, let him know that I'm here.
And who makes that call? Does your card say, all right, we are stroking him 2 minutes, or stroking him 2 strokes because he is late, or is there an official who is waiting?
The TD / Marshall has been doing that for like some of the pro tours that are like sitting there. They're the ones that are giving them strokes, so the card's not giving the stroke, which I do kind of like that because put it on the Marshall,
that's
and the TD to stroke the people for being late. But
out of curiosity, I actually don't know this because I actually haven't watched, and I mean I've watched a lot of it, but I haven't watched when these things have happened. When do you get stroked? Is it like when it's your spot, like to tee off, or is it like 2 minutes before I think
it's 5 minutes before you have to be at your starting hole. 5 minutes before, and so I think with the pro tour, since it's all hole 1, you got to be there 5 minutes before you tee off.
Yeah, I mean, why 5 minutes? Why do you have to be there 5 minutes before? I mean, that's one of my things. It's just like I feel like if you're late for your tee time, I feel like you're late when it's your turn on the tee to tee off. It's like a missed hole, right? So why do I have to be there 5 minutes before? I know a lot of tournaments that do tee times. It's like check in 15 minutes before. Is it a check-in thing that they're doing? It's not missing your tee time. It's like you missed your check-in time. That's kind of my question.
Josh,
but I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, Manny, show the last comment where someone just said what it is, because maybe that gives some clarification. Like,
the strokes. like what Dale's saying, like the strokes come afterwards, right? So it's
But
just
did
like,
they know? Like, did Ricky know he got those 2 strokes, or at the end they're like, "Hey,
oh,
by
I
the
think
way,
they
you
check
checked
in,
it
like,
late."
yeah, they'll let them know, like, oh yeah, you have the time violation, you're being
Okay.
stroked, and so they still have to play their round as if they're 2 strokes behind.
Man,
It
that
just
might
goes
throw you
on. They
way
don't
off
put it
too
on like
mentally.
hole one.
So there's a check-in buzzer at the Disc Golf Pro Tour events. Is that what
I don't
Dale
think a
is saying
buzzer.
here?
I think a
Or
buzzer
just
would
like
be
a
cool, but
specific check-in time?
yeah, check in with the TD/marshal, and
Yeah.
you have to be
I
there
mean,
like before a specific time.
bottom line, I mean, this is your job. I agree with Cody. It's just like, you show up to one of these events, you should know the rules. It's not like it's a surprise at any point in time. And unless there's something extreme, like we said, a car accident, which if it's a car accident stopping you from getting there, it's a car accident, hopefully 2 hours before your tee time. Because if you're rushing to get there at your tee time, you're not doing your job for sure. I mean, you're not warming up, you're not doing any of that stuff. So how hard is it to get there? I mean, it's like, I feel like this is a conversation I have with my teenage daughter, where it's just like, go back to what I was taught. It's just like, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, how hard is it? And especially a lot of these people, some of these people are actually sleeping at the course. I'm sure, talking about Ricky, he's not sleeping at the course anymore, and a few other people, but still, it's how hard is it to know that is the time you're supposed to be there?
Well, especially because like out of all of the
Hmm.
pros, how many people are actually on the course warming up usually? I think before then, like 20, 30 minutes, you'll have everybody that's teeing off in 20, 30 minutes putting out. And, if they go warm up at a different course beforehand, they still come in and just jam putts before they tee off. And so it's like, if you have a synchronized clock, you should be able to get from practice basket to the tee in an orderly time without too much worry. But I also think, like I said, this is where, like, I think as a tournament director and running these things, you need to be able to not only do that synchronized clock, but you need to have an unobstructed path from practice basket to the tee pad. Because
agree.
with no fans, because I also can see somebody like, Ricky, for example, oh, a fan stopped me and I signed with him and he wanted to talk to me and he's trying to run. And so I think that might be the thing. So like as a tournament director, if you're going to enforce this rule, I think you need an unobstructed path to that tee pad.
Mhm.
So that fans can't intervene with them going from point A to point B, competing. I think Milo last year was one of the difficult where we had a big, like warm up area, which was great, and then one by the basket, but you still had to walk, and there was galleries and there was crowds, and so making sure that some of that, and I think their updated map is taking that into account, which is cool. But I think that's something that it needs to put pressure on the tournament directors. If you're going to stroke people, you need to make every attempt to make sure that they have the ability to be there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, a roped off path, and anywhere that there's other crossing paths, you should have people stand. I mean, it's a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. You should have people there with rope that when you see someone that's coming for their tee off, immediately walk across so no one can obstruct them. I absolutely agree. And then I think another thing that you could easily do, again, with volunteers is if it's that long where you need a roped off path, it's not right. It's not like, 100 feet away from the tee box. Why don't you have another marshal at the practice area announcing that, hey, listen, guys, it's going to take you 5 minutes to get to the tee. If you are not there in the next 5 minutes, you are penalized. So if we're going to do this penalty thing and we want to get, make the Pro Tour even better and more professional, have that. You should have an official there saying like, okay, you guys need to start making your way over there. Just calling out names, and if they're not there, they're not there. Again, it is going to be the player's responsibility, but at least have someone in the practice area go, hey, 10:30 tee time. You don't even have to call out names. 10:30 tee time. You guys have 5 minutes to get there. It's a 4.5 minute walk from here. Get going.
Yeah, that's
So-
a good idea. And I just verified that it is only majors and elite tournaments.
No, I
Yeah.
think that, and I thought that was pretty true. But like I said, like making sure that's announcement, right? Like as Philo's on there talking about why Ricky got the stroke, or whoever's on there, make sure to like, hey, like this is just for majors and elite, because that's what people are getting some of the rule information for the first time. And I'm not thinking like, some of the top level tournament grinders, because they're going to be aware of some of those things. I'm talking about like, hey, this is Joe Schmo at his first B tier, and he's trying to he's causing chaos because he's trying to stroke people for what he saw on TV or something. Just
Mhm.
making, like I said, like little passing note, I think goes a long way for some of the fans that tune in and reinforcing some of that exposure. But also for everyone that has been dinged, also realizing that though they might have a loud voice, like Ricky, 2-time world champion, big following, they're in the minority, because if there's 120 people in the field competing, you're like 2 or 3 people that might have been stroked. Everybody else was able to get their ass on time. Why does the rule need to be like bent, or why do you get to complain and use your platform to kind of bitch and moan about it when everybody else is adhering to it? And some of those people that are notorious stoners are showing up in time and not getting stroked. Give Cupcake shit for, taking all the time in the world, but he's there not getting those 2 strokes. He might get them later, but he's not getting them there. So it's like, being just aware of time management, guys. So Cody,
Now-
as always, a mild take.
Hey,
Go
I
on,
will
go
say
on.
this, Manny. I like your idea that you have someone reminding them, because then it's not just stroking people just to make your point. It's offering a solution to help people get there on time. So not only are you benefiting the pros by getting them to their tee time on time, it also benefits people watching it, people else on their card.
I disagree with that, Cody. I think
Why?
I
Why
think
would you not want to help someone?
I think a synchronized clock helps somebody, and I'm for that. But if somebody's announcing it, what happens if somebody has their headphones in and they don't hear it, and then they're gonna bitch about, oh hey, well
That's-
this person didn't see.
Why
But
not
even
have
if they don't
both?
have-
Why
Why
not
not
they don't have
both?
headphones. But even
Why
if they
not
don't have
both?
headphones, even if they don't have headphones, they're still gonna be like, oh, that person didn't announce it loud enough. I didn't hear it. They're gonna
No,
blame
I'm
that
not saying you
person.
Hey,
should not get your
Paige,
stroke.
Cody has something to say.
Thank you. I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying they shouldn't still get their stroke, but why not offer a solution that benefits everyone without hurting anyone? If you don't hear it, or you'd rather play with your headphones in, you don't have to
I
listen.
think a clock
But
does
if
that
you
without
were-
having to require a volunteer.
Why not have
Both.
both?
Do both. It's
Think
that
about
easy.
wherever
It's
you've
not
worked. If
hard.
Volunteers
my school,
are,
they-
are scarce right now. Like, we're getting less and less volunteers signing
I
up for pro
guarantee you
tournaments.
offer someone, hey, you get to hang out at the practice basket of all the pros. All you have to do is tell them the time. I guarantee I would sign up for that for free. I got to watch all these pros putt for free in practice. Hey, Ricky, your tee, or just anyone, your tee time's at 11 o'clock. I would start. It's 10:50. I would start to make my way there. If you don't hear me, that's on you. I know at school, hey, boys and girls, if you need to get to the cafeteria by 10 o'clock, lunch is ending, whatever. They're just making an announcement. If a kid's dumb and doesn't pay attention or is being silly or goofy, okay. But it's still there to help you, not to hinder you.
Nah, we used to have a bunch of divas in disc golf, and
Oh,
Hey,
I already
you're
hear
gonna
the
have
bitching
that
about it.
regardless, but
But and it's minimize one bitch, then that's fine. One bitch and moan less by not having somebody there, and that's fine with me.
Paige can never just be happy. Just never.
I
No,
can't.
no.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
But
All right,
nope.
so let's move on from this. Let's move on from this.
Don't you dare. All right, Josh. Go
mild
ahead.
take. Mild take.
Well,
Although
mild
that
take,
was-
mild take.
That was lukewarm compared to your usual stuff there,
And
Cody.
here's
I
the
just
thing.
gotta applaud you real quick. But we're
See,
moving on. Hey, we're
I'm not a
moving on.
confrontational
We're moving on.
All
You
right.
listen to our co-host.
I like how Manny's just like, all right, let's do this, guys.
It just
I
shows
wanna
up.
I want to
He's
make sure
yelling
Manny
at
has
us.
some time to talk. About
He's like,
his
let
art.
me in this chat now. He's texting all of us. Don't you ignore me. Let me in.
So we're going to talk about. I want to talk about the results of last week's tournament. But before we do, I want to shout out one of our sponsors, which is Rare Air Discs. They got those rare discs, those hard to find discs, those new discs, those discs that you need at a really good price. Use
I love
discount
them,
code
guys.
Jammers. Discount
Mm.
code Jammers for 10% off your order. Fast shipping, awesome people. Go visit the site.
And
So,
Alex
with that
B
said-
will write you a note in every disc you buy from us. You better do it,
Last
Alex.
week, or this last weekend, was a very big moment for disc golf. We got our first finish winner and the highest tournament rating from an FBO player ever, from Owen Scoggins.
Mm.
Also, the revenge story for both Owen and Nicholas from Waco. I think that was for me. It was like the redemption, not revenge, redemption.
No, I like revenge.
and the endings for both of them were fantastic. Like Owen having Kristen in the field and winning by what was it, 11 strokes.
She
She
crushed
just
it.
Rushed
she
it.
dominated it. It was
Also,
so
did
fun
you
to
see,
watch
like,
her.
owns like putting, like, what is it, the putting distance now that they start to do? Like
Mhm.
she's like maybe 300 or 400 feet more than Tatar. So she was like,
Mm.
she was doing it, not parking things. She was hitting big putts.
Yeah. And then you got Niklas Antala,
On
who comes up dark outside. He can either like lay it up and go into playoff, or he can try to make this big putt. And he stepped up, nailed it right into the basket. Great. Like he's such a calm and collected kid that to see him have that reaction when he gets that putt was really cool to see.
this
Very
entire tournament was
excited.
the most emotions I've seen out of
Revenge
Antala.
of the Finn.
Yeah. And it's a rare thing that you see somebody who's going to win the tournament putt before everyone else for the win. It's a rare
And he
thing.
birdied one of the hardest holes on the course to do it in the dark.
In the dark. Yeah, don't let the I like how they showed the cameras that actually show how dark it is outside versus that one that has
Yeah,
lens wide open.
makes it look like daylight.
Yeah.
So, what do we think about Antala getting warned about his time?
Warned
He got-
about it?
Yeah,
Or did he
took a
get
little-
stroked about it?
He didn't get stroked. He got warned because he took a little bit long on a putt, and so they warned him, and that's when he like double bogeyed the next hole, and then he aced the hole after that. And then also on the final day when he missed his putt on 14, you can tell like he was thinking about it, right? Oh, I'm taking too long. I'm taking too long. So then he just kind of rushed it. And so if you look at that, knowing that he got that warning, and you watch those rounds again, you can start to see when he starts to rush and take a little bit longer, him actually kind of like panic almost, not necessarily panic, but you know what I mean, kind of rush his putt, rush things. And I think that kind of accumulated, and it probably cost him like 3 or 4 strokes over the tournament easily, if not more. So
And
yeah, he
there's
got
that mental side of disc golf that people don't think about, where if you do get that stroke from being late, or if you get the warning, now that's going to be in the back of your head. So your putt's going to be off, your drives might be off. I mean, think back a couple years when the whole thing with Tatar's daughter, and they, did that throw her off? So the fact that he came back and did this is pretty impressive.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, because that's also another thing, right? The most emotions. He was angry, he was furious, he was focused, he was all of these things. And is that the push then that he needed in order to win, right? Did he need to get mad at somebody? Because he also started off the final round really slow, and I thought he was going to just blow his entire lead on that first like 6 holes. He was struggling, and then he finally just kicked it into gear.
Was he mad at someone or himself?
He's probably both.
He's finished probably himself.
No, so probably like.
And I gotta say it again: the DM Sky team in the top 4 positions,
Oh,
placements,
this Mania
killed
started
it.
off the season huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
I think Gannon Burr, though, with this putt, I think we might be seeing his first Creator Series be a putter, because his putt is struggling right now.
I have no info on that.
Hey, I heard people asking like if people thought he might take like a Logic or a Rainmaker and make like a more overstable bottom, like a Logic top and something more overstable, like beat it on the bottom.
Rainmaker top and Link
P3X.
bottom.
Ooh.
No, P3X is not a good putting putter. What do you?
All right, that is outside. That is definitely outside, what I deal with. So
So you're gonna chime in?
no,
You gonna chime in?
no.
Yeah,
know
no,
nothing
it's
about that.
it's the art talk.
I
It's
am
Manny's
working
art
on some
talk
other
time.
stuff.
What
though,
art's going
that
on?
I can't talk about.
Great
Wait,
conversation. Love it.
are we switching
We
conversations?
can say,
Yeah, we're
always
fluid
gonna
here. I also
learn
want
a
to talk
fine
about. Did
line
you
with
clean
this
up your?
media when it comes to
Hey, yeah, look, Josh noticed.
You
I was
cleaned your
going to
room.
show this off.
I like the CRT TV in the back. Like,
Look at this. Look how clean
Whoa,
my
whoa.
office is. And yes, that's a CRT TV with a VHS in it. You know why I have it though, right? Because it's the only thing I can hook up my Atari to.
Ah,
just get an HDMI to composite cable.
You know how lazy I am.
Yep.
It's on Amazon for $6.
I'm sure I'll buy one and
Yeah.
I'll play it on the 85-inch TV. Can you imagine playing an Atari on an 85-inch TV? That's got to look ugly.
I was just Yeah.
It
Well,
does look ugly,
anything-
but it's still full. But the thing is, the bit rate though is so low. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. Like
I'll
8
try
bit's
it
pretty
out.
good on the.
I'll try it out.
8-bit on like a 4K TV, not gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's not
Anyway,
bad. I play Mario on my Nintendo all the time. That's 8-bit.
yeah,
Whoa,
I love
Whoa.
playing the old
big baller here.
Nintendo NES games. You know,
Super
that was
Nintendo.
But the CRT TVs are the ones that allow that you can use the guns for duck hunt or
Yeah.
like
The light guns.
super scope. You can't do it. You can't do it on the new ones.
They have
Does
changed
not
the
work.
technology where there are ones that do that now. But you are correct.
Really?
all
Yeah.
this technology stuff.
I used to sell TVs, so
Yeah.
long
Alright.
ago.
Yeah, so I
Yay.
cleaned out my
Animal?
office. I'm gonna start painting again, which is awesome. That's part of the reason I cleaned out my office. Finished bagging all my discs. I'm sure you guys saw in the lounge, like the giant, all the boxes of disc I removed from my office. Literally, there were 2 big Discmania boxes, 2 like half that size, or 3 maybe half that size, and then I don't know how many, like 5 to 10 boxes that I just took out and just put them all in bags, took it all out, and now I'm like, one of these days I need to go through my garage and figure out what the hell I have in here, because I do the same thing every time. It's I go through boxes and I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about that disc. Like there are some discs that I pull out every once in a while. I'm like, not sure what I'm gonna do with that one. Whether I'm gonna throw it or try and sell it. And it's really freaking some cool discs that I have. Mostly Discmania, because obviously that's what I have most access to. But I still have some old cool ones. Otherwise, but anyway, let's talk about art. I was gonna jump on and completely bitch and complain about all the people that are using AI art right now, but I'm gonna lay off of that. We'll save that for next week, because there was some hot sauce that came out today.
Mm.
I'm sure you guys probably saw it. I'm going to share
Is it the OTB?
the OTB stuff.
Dude, those are nasty.
Oh man. Let me figure it out right here. Nope. And in doing this, the best site that I found, I'm trying to share. Yeah, you could sit here. The best site I found was Rare Discs to show all these
Hey,
off. So just another shout out to Rare that they had the best images. Not only images, but they also have, what I love about this is if you look at it, they actually have the artist name on there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
is
so that's
awesome.
really cool. You know, this is Green Sea Studios. You know, look at
Oh.
these. Some of these are just gorgeous. You know, they're
Yeah,
I don't know who
soft
Green
vanish.
Sea is. Not familiar with them, but
But now
I'm
that's how
really-
you become familiar with them, right? Now that you're
Yeah.
acknowledging who the artist is, you'll be able to go back and see what they did and be able to pay attention to what they're doing in the future. Which shout out to Rare Air for actually acknowledging the artists.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's probably because I've given him such a hard time about that in the past.
Yeah. Alex V listens to Jammers in the Rough. You heard
Yeah.
it here.
Hey,
But I
Ripper
like-
Studios, Pirate Nate. All right. I like
Yeah,
this.
I know those guys. You know, like Ripper. I know Ripper. Ryan's on here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is cool. You know, you got this reminds me of oh god, what was that old movie?
Mars.
Mars
Yeah,
Attacks.
Mhm.
Totally reminds
Hey,
me of Mars Attacks. I
That's
love
a
it.
fantastic movie.
I love that. Pirate Nate, who does a lot of the OTB stuff in general. I've talked to him. Well, one of these days, him and I are going to collaborate on something. You know, this is cool.
Mhm.
Mike, I love Mike's stuff. Mike's like Mike always does. One way to always see Mike's work is he loves these like thin, very like what is
Legs?
yeah, the legs, the thin legs, but they're very, you know, the pose on the legs are always good, even though he does these thin legs and bigger upper bodies. I can always tell it's his.
It's like almost like Sonic, that kind of like.
Yeah, it's the poses on them and the gestures on them are fabulous whenever he does it. I don't know if you know this about Mike, but before he went full time, with OTB. I mean, not with MVP and doing a lot of just his own disc golf stuff. He was actually a concept artist in the video game industry. So he did a lot of concept. I don't remember the company he worked for, but when I first met him, we would talk about that stuff because obviously I'm in the video game industry as well. This I could tell is Michael Ramanowskis right away. I could tell his stuff.
Double Ram.
Double Ram. And let me see.
I'm just excited for all the new plastics they're putting these stamps on because tempos have been impossible to find for under $40. But then you have like these new soft glows. You have plastics like the Eclipse Servo, which has never been done. The Drift never been done. Soft Paradox, Eclipse Orbital. So I'm loving all these different plastics they got to show off.
So I was looking for Mike's autograph on here. I'll have to ask him about it because I don't see it. But his signature, I'm going to spoil this for him. I'm sure he wants people to know, so it won't be that big of a deal. He does it in Morse code. So he never actually signs his initials or his name. Like I write empty on everything. He does his in Morse code and whatever. And it's like 2 long dashes, then a dot, a dash, and whatever it is. But I can't find it on here.
Did he do it in one of like? I'm looking at the shapes of like the crystals. I wonder if it's in one of those. Like you see a long, short, maybe.
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing. I was even looking at the dots to see if it's in there and just the actual dots. Like if there's a dash in one of the dots as well. But yeah, so that's how you find his stuff. I love the way he does this. This looks like another Insco. Again, the flames are very stylized by Insco. He's definitely got a style, and I love it. Who is this? Skullboy? Oh, yeah, that's obviously Skullboy.
That's a sweet one.
One of these days, one of my bucket list things is to go play on a course that has you've heard about this, right? We've talked about this, I think last time, where he does like armatures and props for TV shows, but he's done like props around baskets. Like there's one that I've seen where it's like a big old skull, like underneath the basket is sitting on top of a big old skull. And I want to play one of those courses one of these days that has all this stuff on it. Pirate Nate again. I love the octopus. So this looks like, oh no, this is Pirate Nate. I was gonna say from a distance it looks okay. I can see the difference. That's cool.
Yeah, a little Ferngully kind of inspired.
Yeah. So I look at these and they're triple foil, and sometimes I wonder how do they do this. This foil must be like almost like a rainbow, like going from like orange to yellow to blue to purple. So I was like, how is this triple foil? So I was trying to break it down. It's obviously got the black, it's got a red because the red is consistent. But this must be one foil with some sort of like rainbow image on it.
Like a sunset.
Yeah.
Also, we see some triple foils from you because I feel like getting you to do art for a triple foil company would just really make some of your stamps pop.
Yeah. See, I can already tell this. I looked at this. I was like, that's that one from the first one. I couldn't even remember their name, but it's definitely Green Sea. I'm going to have to look them up to see who they are. Good job, Green Sea, whoever you are. This has got to, I didn't see the name. I'm guessing it's Pirate Nate.
That's Ripper. It looks like
that's
a
Ripper.
Studio.
Yes, you're right. It is Ripper. And this one is Marmoset. I love Marmoset. He does. He's one of the top guys out there. Look at how he did this. I didn't even notice this before. Look at these rays. He's got rays coming this way, but then a different foil. He's got like a cross wave coming across.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
As far as triple foil stamps go, I think like overall Marmoset has experienced it the most and has like he knows how to use the triple foil so well, and it's just some really cool stuff. So if you guys haven't taken a look, all you viewers that haven't taken a look at all the new MVP OTB stuff that got released today, go check out Rare Discs. Throwing them out there again. Best website, and that's totally honest. I was jumping on there to see what are the best images I could find real quick. I was like, this is awesome. They have the artist on there too. I was like, oh my God, it's Alex's site. So good for you, Alex. Good on you. But I mean, gorgeous stuff there. So just want to give that stuff a shout out.
No, absolutely, and I think that's one of the great things too. Like, I get kind of curious to see because, like, it seems like OTB leans a little bit more into some of the alternate artworks than, specialty plastics.
Yeah.
But it seems like I don't know if they're going to gear up to be more because this is a bigger release than last year, right? They had like 3 or 4 different.
They had like 4 last year. This is definitely a bigger
And
release.
so, if they're gonna try to push more-
Unfortunately for me, you know how my timeliness is with some artwork. I missed the deadline for the OTB Open last year, and I was like, so that's why Pirate Nate and I started talking about collaborating on something at some point. But I'm still, I'm slowly clearing out my life to be more productive, and I have gotten a lot of stuff done. I was on a good run until I sneezed and coughed yesterday morning and threw out my back. That just goes to show you how old I'm getting.
or how powerful your coughs are.
Yeah,
or
it's
maybe
true.
not, or my sneezes or whatever.
It's a powerful cough.
So, but yeah, so I am working on a few things. I do have something that'll hopefully by the next time we talk. I wanted to kind of debut it today, but it's going to take a
The
little bit
Jammer
more.
stamp.
I'm not saying that.
Oh,
But you're not saying it.
I'm
and
not. I
exactly.
can neither confirm nor deny.
We got like 8 minutes to debut it. Is all I'm saying.
No. I got a good idea.
Oh, it's an idea now. So
Good
yeah.
idea.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
back to idea phase.
it's in the sketches phase. It just needs to be finalized. I got some stuff that was needing to get done this weekend that kind of put me behind a little bit, but very important stuff. A couple major tournaments for this year. Sorry, and next year.
there goes his back.
There goes my back, dude.
Right
It's
back
just
into place.
dude, my back is so bad that when it goes out, you can almost literally see like my spine like this. Like my belly button is like 1.5 inches to the side of like the center of my body.
Do you have scoliosis? Because that should be checked out, Manny.
I go to a chiropractor as often as I can, but what happened was when I was in 8th grade and we were playing basketball at our neighbor's house, and my brother, who's 3 years older, got really, really super mad at something. I don't remember what. And this basketball goal, the backboard was drilled into the side of the garage. So there's no space behind the backboard, like going up for a shot. You were right against a wall. And I went up for a layup, and my brother body checked me, just like, bam! And I went down, and I didn't know what was going on, but I couldn't run really much anymore. Like, I was running track at the time, and I couldn't really finish a race. My coach was pissed off at me, couldn't really play soccer. And then, like, a couple months later in PE, we were doing stretches, and I bent over. My back popped. Like, literally, people in the gym heard my back pop. And I put my hand on my back. I tried getting back up, got about halfway up, and fell flat on my face. And for about 30 minutes, I could not move from about around the bottom of my ribs down. Just literally paralyzed from the waist down. And so they came, they backboarded me, and they took me in, and they finally x-rayed me. And they're like, oh, this is what's going on. My spine was just, since it was off like that, it was just rubbing on my spinal cord. My brother had knocked my spine like enough off to where it was just rubbing my spinal cord. So
Did you like beat him or something? Or did
he
your
was older
parents
than me at
beat
the
him?
time. He was older than me at the time, so no one beat him.
Wouldn't he still be older than you?
He is still older than me.
Just saying. At the time he was
Talk
older.
to-
I've grown older than him, but all right.
Yeah, but so that single injury, if I don't stay on top of it, will really take me out every now and then. And it's the stupid things where it really throws it out, like sneezing and coughing at the same time. Last time it was this bad, I literally just got in my car and adjusted myself in my seat like that. and must have come down too hard and like spine went like that. Yeah, so every once in a while I'm fabulous and just knocked out. I'm old. Sorry guys. Sorry to disappoint you.
Sorry to
We're
disappoint.
old, and that's what happens when you get old, guys. Must be nice.
Oh.
That's why disc golf's a young man's game, right? Like,
Yeah, all you 30-year-olds out there. I don't even know. How old are you guys? I don't even know.
I'm 52.
Oh, that's good. I've seen
17.
your pictures from childhood. You were watching like, I don't know.
I'm like Benjamin Button. I just
Yeah.
like. I'm 37. I'm 37.
I'm 37 as well.
I'll be 35 next month. I guess I'm
Are
the
you-
youngster here.
Yeah,
Mm.
you are the
Finally,
youngster.
I'm the youngster in the room.
And you act like it most times.
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm counting the days till I'm MA 50.
Yeah. And
Maybe
then
at that point
MP40
I'll
is
go
what I'm training
MP
for.
50.
Ooh.
I gotta just get my throw-ins going, right? Be
Yeah.
able to throw in from 90 feet to be MP40.
Yeah.
Try to hit that Barsby line.
Yeah, he always has some good throw-ins, man. It's so fun to watch.
He's every time the camera cuts
Mm-hmm.
to him, I just like know the throw-ins coming in, and it's gonna be like absolutely a blast to see. Because he's always like
Man.
nonchalant about it too. He has like one of the like unique like forms where it's just like it looks like you barely throw it, and it's just on a line the whole time.
I've played enough rounds with him where it's funny because like if you ever go out and play around with a pro, a lot of times they're never just playing around. They're at least one shot on every hole. They throw like 3 discs because they're like, oh, I gotta try this. I gotta try this. And Greg, I remember watching him one time and he's like, he throws a shot and then he turns around. He's like, watch this. He goes, just like that from like 120 feet away, just like, and it just has this like, it was so just like silky smooth, like just slight ending, and then drops right in the basket. I'm just like, how? it was just I still remember that.
No, it's something about him just cracks me up too. And I mean, yeah, he's made for some of those courses. So every time he's popping off, I always just get excited.
Yeah, he's such a good dude too.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
no, I mean, we're starting to push the top of the hour, everyone. So as always, I'm gonna wrap us up. I wanted to give Manny a huge shout out for forcing his way on tonight. He
Forcing
gave me
my
a
way on.
compliment about learning how to throw far like me, so I'm pumped with that. That's my high for the week.
Manny, don't do that
Oh.
anymore, please.
Teach me. No, seriously, I don't throw far.
He
I
doesn't
fully
throw far
believe
either.
the reason that I do not throw far is because of this back issue. Because I just
Well, that
my
makes
core-
a lot of sense, Manny. Your back is like this. I'm surprised you're walking right now.
You haven't seen me stand up.
Manny's like,
If you saw me
I'm
walk
mad I
out
don't
of here,
throw
I'd be
far.
like this. All like I look like Yoda.
That's what I say though. Like you don't need lessons for me because I use my whole body. You need lessons for Barsby. How can you throw like 500 feet by just being like, whoopee, and just throws it 500? That's who you need.
The Barsbarians.
The Barsbarians. Of course, we had a lovely episode, a little bit quieter. That's just because there's this big elephant in the room, and that's Paige isn't on Thought Space. So
Nobody cares.
I care, guys.
Nobody cares.
No.
I feel like Dennis Nedry from Jurassic Park. Say nobody cares. Nobody cares.
That's fine. You don't tune in for me. You tune in for the Josh and the Codys. So keep tuning in for them. Manny's going to be here alternating weeks with us. So keep jamming in the rough. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Mm.